Yassine, thank you so much for joining us in my Waymo.
Nice to see you again. I think it's been 3 years we haven't met in person.
Well, the last time I saw you was in San Francisco when
Exactly.
you were doing a party to celebrate your $11 million seed round.
Exactly.
It was very cool, very cool. So you're back in San Francisco this time to raise your Series A.
Yeah, this time a bit more. We're raising a 25 million round, and we had a lot of change since last time we spoke.
Okay, well, let's start from the beginning. Who are you? Tell us a little bit about where are you from, where are you currently living?
So I'm Yassine. I'm the CEO of Kinetix. I grew up in Morocco. Been in France for the past 15 years, worked a bit in strategic consulting, and then joined EF in 2020 during the pandemic.
Tell us what Kinetix does.
So, since day one, our ambition was to make anyone able to tell their stories in a visual way. We started by tackling a hard problem, which was bringing motion capture to any creator. Motion capture, for those who don't know, is basically capturing the motion of the body to create CGI, movies, or video games. Traditionally, you need to put a lot of sensor in your body to go through a motion capture studio, and it costs a lot, and it's very difficult to do, not accessible. And basically, we've been working on computer vision algorithms to, from any video, generate this 3D animation. So that's what we've been doing historically. We were one of the leading technologies in the field. Licensed our technology to key industry leaders like Unity, Adobe. We worked with Krafton, which was one of the biggest Korean studio. So we licensed our technology as like kind of a middleware. And earlier this year, the market has been changing a lot, both in the gaming, cinema industry. And we sit down and started thinking, well, okay, how can we keep growing? How can we move to the next step of the company? And our vision is that both video games and videos will be produced differently in the future. Before you had these 3D pipelines where you have to be extremely technical to create content. And in the future, these models will understand 3D in the background and being able from simple prompts, video and inputs that anyone can handle, create amazing content. We decided to leverage all our technology, our data and our expertise to bring the next generation of models that are 3D aware and spatial aware, which is not the case for most of the video models that you can see today, like Runway or like even Sora.
You are a European-based business, but you have come to the US to raise, and you raised your seed round in predominantly from Bay Area investors. Why?
Because we couldn't raise in Europe. we tried, we failed. I think, you know, it's all about, I think, momentum. And in 2020, when you were building a company between AI and creativity, we were one of the first ones. So it was very challenging. We had some amazing angels actually investing in the company from Europe in the early days. But then we had to quickly go to the US because I think the investors are investing from a different angle and perspective. Some of the investors we had were understanding the technology that we were building, and they saw what it could unlock in the future. I mean, we can have application in robotics, we can have application in video games, in video right now, and there are some things you cannot plan in the future that like new technologies will emerge. But if you're solving a hard technical problem and you have an application, they can bet on that because it will unlock future industries, future possibilities. Our investors that we have and that were helping us so far are very much in this mindset.
Can you remember, and I know raising your seed round was a little while ago, but can you remember the kinds of questions that you were asked by US investors?
The main one that struck me was like, I was pitching that we wanted to raise 3 million and that we wanted to like I was talking about the next milestone that we wanted to reach, basically. And in Europe, the question was like, okay, like, why do you need this money? Questioning a lot the market and the possibility, the short-term possibility. Here, it was a different mindset. The question was like, okay, if I give you 10 million, what would you be able to do with it? What if we could raise more capital? So even the investor that I was talking to were pushing me to see bigger. And actually, it unlocked something in mind because there's this saying like in French, like, le bocal fait le poisson. Is like if you're in a small aquarium, you will never grow a big fish.
Yeah.
It was exactly that. It's like basically, what if you had this amount of capital? What could you do? And I think I was limited in a bit in my head, and I had like it was easy to unlock that and say, okay, if I had 10 million, this is what I could do. I was able to quickly change perspective, leverage our first investor that said, okay, you need 3 million, I give you 3 million, but you go for more. And that's what we did.
I think this piece about I'm not going to try and repeat the French bit about the poisson, but the way that we talk about it at EF is you have to pitch the possible, not the probable. And I think in Europe, we're often conditioned to pitch the probable, to pitch something that is cautious and reasonable. Whereas in the Bay Area, they're looking for what is the possibility? How big can this be? And it's a great reminder that ultimately they're not looking to invest in unicorns. It needs to be a decacorn. It needs to be a path to being a generationally valuable company for them to even put a seed ticket in.
That's totally the mindset here. And actually, this is also why we changed market. Like 3D market was limited. We saw that this market was like closing down. And there is a huge growing market in the video right now. I believe it will be one of the biggest markets in content generation. So we were like, okay, and our investors actually, like, it's not only about the first check you receive, it's also about the people you have on board. Like our investors, during like our board meetings a few months ago, we had like some big companies coming for acquisition. We were discussing some possibilities, but it was not big enough for them. They were like, okay, like who cares about just selling, like just making like a 1x, like they're not interested in that. And when they saw the opportunity in the video market, they were like, you have the opportunity to become like a multi-billion-dollar company. This is where we should be going. So it was no issue for them to unwind all our revenue streams from Adobe, from like Unity, from big corporates.
What, so you shut down your revenue?
Shut down, yeah.
You fired your customers?
Yes.
Wow, how did that feel?
Great. No, I think it was like a slow growth basically, and it's all about how like we raised capital before, like we have an equity story and we need to move to the next steps. If you want to be like you were a decacorn, the only way for us to do it was like either through applying our technology and our advance in the video field or in the robotics. And the DNA of the company was very entertainment, and this is what I like as well. So we decided to go full on the video space.
Amazing. How big do you think Kinetix can be? Like when you think about what's possible rather than what's probable, what is your vision of what this becomes?
If we do parallels with other, like it's easier to think about parallels. Companies, like the first generation of companies were like Photoshop or like After Effects. Actually, the founder of After Effects is like one of our angels. And then there were like the second wave of creation, like Canva or Figma. Figma was about to be acquired 20 billion. So the valuation is that kind of valuation. And the shift between the first generation of creation tools and the second one is that it was more accessible. With the AI right now, I think the scale of people that could create with video, for example, can be 10 times bigger or like even 100 times bigger than what Figma or Canva achieved. The next generation, for me, it's way bigger. We've seen some parallels, early parallels in the code space with Lovable, in the audio space with 11 Labs reached 300 million ARR in 2 years or 3 years. And we're seeing the same happening in the image with the Midjourney and Black Forest Labs, actually a European company. And video space is a bit later because it's a modality that is a bit more complex. But as we speak, Runway is reaching 100 million ARR. And I think it's the beginning in a 400 billion market of video. They're only representing like 0.1%.
Scratching the surface.
Yeah, it's day one.
Let's talk about angels, because you have some incredible angels that are very relevant to your industry. How did you find them? How did you get them over the line?
I think I'm good at reaching out to people. So I find my way to get intros. Like, I know you mentioned someone earlier. I'm sure I will ping you in a couple of hours to get the intro. So I'm always trying to leverage people, and people are always willing to help entrepreneurs. So as soon as I hear someone knowing someone, I will reach out. Pitch. I think it's also about energy. I think a lot of feedback I received, like in the early days, the angels, they don't really care about the return. They just like a project. They like the entrepreneur. They like the vision. So they're more there to help. And I think we managed to convey that energy, and that's how we attracted some really cool people. And they've been super helpful. I think good angels can be super helpful.
What do they do?
They make a lot of intros. Some of them, not all of them, but like some of our angels basically made more than 10 or 15 intros in this round directly to the partners. So of some funds. So it's like kind of a hack. Especially in the valley, like we have some investors that like angels that were extremely helpful in getting the right connections. So if you leverage them well and select the right angels, I think it can bring a lot of value for the company.
Well, I think this is the interesting thing about the Bay Area, is that it is one of the most open ecosystems in the world, but also to actually get to the best people, you need warm introductions.
Yeah.
You said you got intros to your angels. How did you get those intros? I assume you didn't just, know the right people who knew the right people. Like, how did you work your way to these angels?
It's intros of, like, you start with your close network and you get to the second network, and then you have to nurture it. Like, I've been coming to the Valley every 3 to 6 months for the past years. So I've been meeting them, having dinners. Like, it's also a lot of informal, I would say, connection. Like, you have to build your network and you have to keep maintaining it and building it. So every time I came to the Valley, it was like meeting again people, trying to get new people, getting intros. It's like not something that you do from one day to another. You have to build it on the long run, and then you can benefit from it. But it's like a work you have to do.
Yeah, it's a great point. You have to invest in your presence here. If you aren't going to be based here, you have to invest in that network, because the relationships here aren't transactional. I think sometimes the relationships in Europe feel a little bit more transactional. The relationships here, people want to get to know you. They want to understand who you are. They want to know your story. They want to know about your childhood. And then they want to use that to, like, really believe and trust in you and connect you to others and help you work through the maze of Valley introductions.
Exactly. That's what we've been trying to do in the past year. And it has to be genuine as well. Like, you cannot just fake it. I really enjoy meeting people. I really enjoy spending time with people, talking about the company, talking about tech in general. So it has to be some real connection in a certain way. And then obviously you have to also navigate a space where, like, we didn't change space. Even like if we pivoted, like, we've been in the entertainment, gaming, 3D market, and most of the people were like in our advisors. You realize that the key opinion leaders of an industry are not that many. And at the end of the day, even the grants we received in France, for example, in the jury, the person was the head of Unreal Engine. He was following our journey since we launched, because we reached out to him and we pitched him our company, and he'd been seeing the first day he was like, this is shitty technology. And then he saw the progress after a few years, and he saw that we were there and we were like still pushing the technology. And thanks to him and like his advice and everything, we managed to have other connections, for example, also get the grant because we were like known in the field. And I think it takes time to build also reputation and presence in an industry. That's why even if we pivoted, I feel that in a creative space, we have a brand and we have also people know us and they know the capabilities of our technology. So it's not, I mean, of course, like if you pivot completely, you have to rebuild trust in other industries. But I feel like in the creative space, we've been identified for a while.
Why haven't you moved to the US?
Lifestyle. I think I'm deeply Mediterranean. I love the food. I love the lifestyle. So I think business-wise, I like to be here. And actually, I spend a lot of time in Tel Aviv. Also for the business side of the things, the tech, like the way it's moving, but I'm deeply European in a certain way, so I like the lifestyle there. I
mean, this is what we're trying to create at EF, is, the bridge between the world's various startup ecosystems. I think sometimes there's too much focus on nationalism within each ecosystem, but each ecosystem is stronger the more that we can bring them together and connect them. And like Tel Aviv has the most incredible startup ecosystem, as does Europe. And then obviously right now we're in the world's best startup ecosystem. And the more we can build the bridges between that, the better off we will all be.
Even if you're not here full time, I think coming every quarter is super important. And then when I come for a month, basically.
Oh, wow.
Usually I stay for a month. So like I'm spending like now 5 weeks in the US. Last March, I spent a month and a half. December was a month. So I come for a longer period of time.
I think that works well. So for the first 3 years that I was going backwards and forwards from the US, I did 3 months at a time. And it is the sort of thing where it does sort of compound and snowball, that once people know that you're in town for a long time, they start inviting you things, the relationships become more casual, it becomes less transactional. And I think the more that we can see Europeans coming over and spending pretty reasonable chunks amount of time here, I think it's better off for everyone. How do you think about the investors that you choose? Because you've talked about how useful your angels have been. One of the things we push our founders think about is, don't choose a brand name, choose a partner, like the partner that you want to work with. How have you thought about that for your seed and Series A?
So most of them we got through intros, so we have some feedback also from people that they worked with. There are some like you feel it, like there I would say a typology of investor we're talking to, like some brands I didn't know, like some investor to be honest, I had the intro because I've been told like these guys are great in this field, and actually some of them were like investors that I met and they said you will be a great fit for this fund, and I got the intro, and we were like, I think we are a great fit. We don't have a term sheet yet, but I think we're advancing toward that. And like the reputation, you can get info from the founders of the, like I have also meeting founders that receive checks from these companies, and getting feedback is important because, at the end of the day, pivot can happen, and we've been super supported by our investors. Like it was an amazing journey with our current investors, and I want to be able to keep navigating the future of the company because technology can change. Like many things can change. Like after 5 years, you see that there are market changes, and if you don't have the right people on board, it can crash your company.
This has been so helpful and so useful. As we wrap up, and I think we're just going to go to South Park now, which is like one of the main areas crammed full of VCs in San Francisco. What are your top tips for Europeans fundraising in the US?
I think definitely in pitching the opportunity, it has to be a different way of pitching things. We've been discussing that. I think as European, we're like have a lot of we're wired to think critically. But I think thinking critically is super good for many things, but sometimes it can be limiting in a certain way. I think Americans are less concerned about stuff. I think they're just going for it. They're less maybe in their head. And I think that's super important to be able to create the next generation of companies, basically.
San Francisco has so many amazing immigrant founders, and there are a bunch of European networks. Have you used those networks? How have they helped you?
For sure. Like I always reach out to, we're all part of different communities. So I leverage all the communities that I know. So basically it can be the LGBT network, can be the Moroccans that are here in San Francisco, or even the Frenchies that are around. So yeah, we all have different communities that we can reach out to, and I think they're the first proxy to get to know somewhere, basically.
Yeah, I mean, for the Brits, there's GBX, which does an amazing job at helping British founders land in the Bay Area and immediately understand where to allocate their time. I think that the people here are so unbelievably happy to help and pay it forward and help the next generation. What's the kind of thing that someone has done for you?
So for example, like I met a friend that introduced me to a friend I met in the airport, basically. I ended up hiring this guy. He was like French guy here in San Francisco, spent 3 years with us. Actually, he's now with us in the Airbnb because he left the company, but he's now launching his next company from San Francisco. He's based in France, but he came here because he wanted to find a co-founder here. And
you met this guy in the airport?
Yes, through a connection of a friend of mine that introduced me to him. He was here and they were like, oh, you're both in LA at the time, met in the airport, had a drink, and then built a relation. He came to our company. He's like, basically, we hired him. So
it's amazing.
A lot of things like most of them like are intros to customers or like investors. Also, I think people are afraid of asking for help. I think as an entrepreneur, you shouldn't be ashamed of asking for things.
If there's anything that I've learned from being in San Francisco, it's that people want to help you. They want to not even trade favors. People just want to help and like see each other succeed. We had one of my team that was here and he knew one person in San Francisco. And from that one person, he got 8 introductions. And from those 8 introductions, he got, another 30 introductions. And suddenly you have a network.
So reach out to people, create opportunities, basically. That's my point, basically, on saying that don't hesitate to reach out to people. People are most willing to help. Actually, I reached out to many people for the introduction for this round. I got one person that said, no, I will not introduce you. So it's okay if we get one no.
Which even surprises me that one person would say no.
Yeah, I was surprised as well, but he said no. I was like, okay.
Fine. The old adage of your network is your net worth feels so unbelievably true here. And your kind of points around like hanging out in the Bay Area, building a network, making friends, just being part of the scene here is I still think one of the most important and underrated things that a European founder can do here. Right, we're just turning into South Park, and this is actually where EF had its very first office. Did you come to the first office we had in San Francisco?
No, I just came to this new one. So I get contact with some people that are building now at EF. I went to have lunch with them. So also, maybe meet people at EF here. You meet other of their friends. And there's the SF Tech Week also this week.
Yeah,
so it's a great opportunity to meet a lot of people as well. Yeah. It's nice.
One of the things I love about the offices here is that every office has this story. And like when anyone comes in, so our first office in South Park was Instagram's first office.
Oh, nice.
The office we're now in was Flexport's, one of Flexport's first offices. And it's always funny when people come in and they're like, oh, wow, I interviewed for Flexport here like 10 years ago. Yassine, thank you so much. It's been so nice to catch up properly. And good luck with the fundraise. And
thank you.
Cannot wait to see the enormous company that you build.
On the way.